Hey guys, so in this video, I thought that I would take the time to respond to a comment that was left on my channel. So every once in a while, I do post comments on my channel or questions where I ask you guys to leave me any questions that you have or any comments or topics. And this one I had said, leave a comment on this post with any weight loss surgery topics you'd like me to talk about. But this is not actually a weight loss surgery topic. So I'm going to read the person's comment and then I'm going to respond with the information that they requested. So this comment is from Tuned In 555, and they said, "Hey Robin, I apologize for not introducing myself when I left you a previous comment. I'm Kelly, female, so you know, since my profile photo doesn't have a photo. Anyway, I wanted to say congrats on your surgery. You've come such a long way." Thank you very much. I'm very proud of the progress that I've made. "My question is, I'm thinking about becoming a phlebotomist or CNA and curious which you preferred and or recommend. Looking forward to hearing back whenever you have some time." So I would say that either one is good. It kind of depends on what you would like to do in the future. So if you're looking for something where you would like it to be long term, I would say CNA. I would not recommend CNA for a long term job just because of how hard it is on your body, how hard it is mentally, especially if you're going to work in a nursing home setting where these people are here long term. They're there basically until they die. You're going to have to deal with death. You're going to have to deal with a lot of physical hardships. And it's mentally rough when you form a bond with these people who you care for day in and day out, and then you have to watch them die. You watch all of the pain that they go through. A lot of these people, their family doesn't come visit them. It's very, very hard. I will say that CNA training does take a little bit less in my personal experience than phlebotomy training. So if you're looking for something that you can start quicker than, having to wait a little bit longer, my phlebotomy class was 9 weeks and my CNA class was like 4 weeks. I know that there are other CNA training classes that take longer depending on if you're able to go to them like full-time or part-time, and kind of depending on the program itself. But my personal experience is what I'm speaking from. So, like I said, my CNA program was 4 weeks long, and my phlebotomy training program was 9 weeks long. I personally enjoy repetition and I enjoy doing kind of the same things day in and day out. I do like a little bit of variety, but phlebotomy can be very hard on the wrist because you're constantly having to do like this type of motion. You're constantly having to move your hand in small ways. So there are people that tend to have hand or wrist issues like carpal tunnel problems just because of having to draw blood, sorry. So it's just a few things that you have to think about. If you're looking into like potentially going into nursing, I would not really recommend phlebotomy. Although I think any healthcare job that can get your foot in the door with any sort of healthcare system or getting any sort of healthcare experience is helpful regardless of what type of field you choose to go into, or what type of career you want to go into within the healthcare field. I just personally would not recommend if you plan to eventually become a nurse or whatever. I would not specifically recommend becoming a phlebotomist because a lot of nursing programs require you to become a CNA prior to going into the clinical portion of your nursing program, whether it is through your school or not. So just keep that in mind that if you are looking at potentially becoming a nurse in the future, I would go for my CNA and not phlebotomy, depending on what type of program you're looking to go into. So if you know what school you're planning to go to, look into and see if they require you to have your CNA certification prior to going to the nursing program, where you're actually doing the clinicals, not the prerequisite program, but the actual nursing program itself. So just keep that in mind that those are some things to think about. I personally, like I said, I absolutely loved my work as a CNA. I loved interacting with the residents. I loved the work that I did on the memory care unit, because that is actually why I became a CNA in the first place, is because my grandma had Alzheimer's and I was not able to care for her. And so I felt like that was a way for me to give back, was to become a CNA and to help take care of other people who needed someone to help take care of them. It was a very, very hard field. I have a lot of long lasting back issues still to this day because of the work that I did as a CNA, but I definitely truly enjoyed everything I did. It was just very hard, like I said, to have to say goodbye to some of the residents that you form such a close bond with when you work with them day in and day out. And a lot of these people, like especially in the memory care setting, their relatives would just stop coming. They would not come and visit them, or they would come visit them like so infrequently that a lot of times the residents would see you as a family member before they would recognize their own family as family members, which is really sad to think about, but it's sadly something that happens very frequently in the nursing home setting or long-term care setting. So anyways, those are just some things to think about. I hope that this was helpful and I hope that it answered your questions. I definitely think that both jobs have their pros and their cons. Um, so I would say look at what it is that you want to do in the future, or if you are planning to do one of these as a long-term job. Physically, I would not recommend CNA as a long-term job, just because of everything that I've mentioned, because of all of my long-term back issues and things like that. It is very physically demanding, and it also asks a lot from you mentally, because you do form bonds with these people. Like I said, you are working with the same residents day in and day out, and you have to realize that bonds are going to be formed with these people. And so you have to be careful, and you have to take into consideration how it is going to feel when you do have to say goodbye to these people. So anyways, hopefully that helped. If you have any more questions or any other topics you would like me to discuss on my channel in the future, be sure to let me know, and I will talk to you guys in my next video.